So Bobbi Althoff and Funny Marco have gotten into a little bit of a podcast beef. If you don't remember, Bobbi Althoff is the chick that got the interview from Drake and kind of stole Funny Marco's whole thing, and then they eventually ended up working together. And now Funny Marco came out and made a video basically kind of blasting her, making her look a little crazy because they were supposed to be going on tour together, and he was like, she ain't ready for a tour. Not ready. So he said something, she said something. It's very interesting to see how this is playing out because these are two of the biggest and hottest podcasters in the game right now. And kind of. But at least on... But yeah, so well, Funny Marco, I'll give him his props. I don't know about Bobbi, but yeah, so
give it to her.
Whatever. But this is what Funny Marco had to say about their tour and the reason why it is no longer happening.
To death, Bobby's a good person. You know, I feel like everybody good. Let's be real. Like I don't have shit bad to say about nobody, but when people pay their hard working money, I really, really care about that. So when I'm on stand-up tour and I'm selling out these tours, and then me and Bobby be able to come together and people are paying their money to come see us, I really want that to get better. I don't want it to be the same. I don't want to take nobody money if you can't get it again. Let me start there. Let me say that.
Ooh.
If you can't get the money again, you don't need to be doing it twice. That's like with anything. With promo, if you're doing promo, don't be out here trying to scramble for money and take people hard work money to just do it and use your platform and then go about your day, because it's about like a relationship. A relationship is very, very important. So the fact that I feel like I did stand up before and I'm still doing it. So I understand, I'm learning how to entertain a crowd. And it's not the same thing that you get on Instagram. This is real life where people look and they want the energy and they want the feeling. And I feel like Bobby was stiff a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey man, let's really, really work on this. Like, and I paid script writers, like, let's really get him a show. And where she told me, that's not me. Bobby was like, my comedy is me not talking a lot. And I'm like, shit, this is different. Like, you can do that on the podcast, but in real life, this is different. So her comedy was different from what she said, from what she wanted to bring to the show, which I can respect. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing about me getting mad. I'm not saying you're doing nothing wrong. I can't, but I just don't agree with it. I can feel like I don't agree with it. You feel me? The same way she probably don't agree with what I do. So you're not wrong for how you feel. But again, when people pay them tickets, and I just feel like, and I'm trying to put a production show together, and then you're not saying nothing, and I'm up there trying to talk, and
shucking
like,
and jiving,
Bobby,
and you can't pull
and
it.
You're just like this.
So look, so we're gonna listen to Bobby's reply because she replies to this, and I think I understand a lot of what he's saying because I've done the stand-up comedian thing. You know, I'm an influencer. I've seen the difference, and like stand-up and doing anything online is not the same thing. And you see a lot of people go from podcasting, going from social media, and the first thing that they try is stand-up because it looks like the easiest translation. And that's something that if people watch your videos, they laugh at it. It's similar in the lane, so you can easily branch them off into come seeing you at a comedy show. You get what I'm saying? Because if they watch a funny video, even if you never told a joke, but you just do funny things, you're now in the funny category.
Right.
But that's a huge difference between being able to stand in front of somebody, talk, and then make them laugh. And then do that consistently. And then the problem is that you have these guys, because if you talk to a real comedian, it takes a real comedian 5 to 10 years to become good. That is, if you talk to that. Period. So you are, and then especially with, at least Funny Marco had to grind as an influencer before he got here. She literally blew up overnight. So you have a person that not only didn't have any, had to develop any type of skill for her actual job, but then wants to hop into the hard. Comedian is the hardest job in entertainment. It's not like a rapper where you got background music. It's not like an actor where you got a cast and background music and lights. It's one person with a microphone. It's sauce on it.
I get it, but you the one picked the talent. He knew who he was putting on the show.
I think because you expect either A, the person to grow, or you expect two, the person to rise to the occasion, because you can't do, like, it's not logical for you to believe that you can do that on this stage. And even if they're not doing, you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's why he's saying, like, yeah, you can do your, like, silent funny thing, but you still have to give people a show. Your whole show, her whole vibe, her whole thing is being shy and awkward. That's not a show. You can pull it off on camera because you can find people to juxtapose that.
Right.
Bobbi in a room by herself is not entertaining. She's only entertaining when you put her next to Drake, when you put her next to Lil Yachty. That's the difference between someone like Funny Marco and a real entertainer versus someone who got lucky and is taking advantage of it. And then by that fact, then taking advantage of the people who she's supposed to be serving.
Right. No,
because
I respect it.
You haven't put the work in to deliver a good product. So I understand you're going to ruin my brand and yours if we keep you on this tour.
Just being silent on the stage.
Yeah. If you can't deliver and I'm doing all the work, and I don't think she has any real vision. I think what you have is literally someone that was picked up, dropped, given all the benefits, and given the plug, like they took her behind that screen wall where they just make you famous overnight. She got the overnight famous treatment, and voila, now she is the biggest thing in the world, but doesn't actually have any other talent. And my thing is, look, if you want to be awkward on a podcast and be in a room by yourself for the rest of your life, if you want to be awkward on a podcast and just interview celebrities and famous people and that works for you for the rest of your life, do that. But if you talk to comedians, because I've talked to a lot of them, they are vicious when it comes to their craft because it takes so much to be good in that line of work. And it's too many people that hop in and just think it's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? And it's really not. Especially when you're charging people the type of money they probably charge. They're probably charging a good like $50 or $100 a ticket, depending on the seats. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what you think.
Honestly, I respect what he's saying. I even heard the part that he even hired writers to like prep her, right? But Bobbi does not hide her like social anxiety. Bobbi does not hide her awkwardness, right? So that is what I say. You knew who you were picking before,
Nah, bro.
Like when I'm picking a talent, who can mesh with me? Who can vibe with me on stage?
But they do have a good mesh, but you still, I
honestly, just by ever watching Bobbi, because I've watched her, I would never put her on stage. I'm sorry. I would not. That is not somebody that I will pick. Well, if it was me, it would be a Pretty V. It will be
that's a good point.
A B Simone. I will not pick Bobbi.
Well, to your point, that is the problem. The problem is that they're picking people based on how many tickets they could possibly move based on their following and the views they get instead of picking people who are actually talented.
Exactly.
And when you do that, then you're right. So to your point,
it's going to fail.
You ain't picked Bobbi because you like Bobbi or that you even thought, let's keep it 100. No one thinks she's talented. No one has ever watched a Bobbi interview and was like, you know what? That's a talented individual.
I want to go watch her stand up.
No one's ever seen that. You watch the interview and it's like, oh, there's an awkward girl interviewing someone really cool. This is interesting. That's the whole trick. There's no other thing going on here.
Right.
She's not no secret genius that knows how to like a secret comedy genius playing out like some super high-end bit that people love to. No, you just got an awkward girl interviewing cool people. But this is what she had to say. And when she speaks about it from her point of view, to your point, it does add a lot of context. And maybe it's not all just about entertainment when you hear her talk.
Okay.
Are you recording? All right, Marco. I guess this is how we're doing this now. I saw your video. Not gonna lie, I was a little shocked. So here's my version of what happened. Last year, we were supposed to go on tour, and I backed out last minute because my husband had just left me. I just had surgery, and I was super nervous going into this because I was not prepared. And I text Marco, and I said, Marco, I'm so sorry to do this, but I am so depressed right now. I literally want to myself. He doesn't reply to me, and then he unfollows me. I woke up from surgery actually to him unfollowing me. And not only that, in the coming weeks, he would go on multiple podcasts and talk about how much he didn't follow my style of humor. Fast forward some time, I'm in Vegas doing an interview, and he bumps into me, and I'm like, oh, hey, stranger. He's like, let's go on tour again. I'm like, all right, fine, let's do it. During this tour, I'm trying my best. Every time I'm telling him, like, Marco, he's like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm like, Marco, I'm trying my best, but, like, it's hard for me to get out of my comfort zone of, like, I have social anxiety, like, debilitating social anxiety. That's why this whole thing of me is not fully a character. I actually am socially awkward. I'm socially awkward. It's embarrassing. I don't want to be, so I lean into it. And I am doing my best on this stage. Our last show, I try my best to get out of my comfort zone. I drink a little, and I thought it went so well. I was like, Marco, I did everything you said, and like, I actually felt really good about it. I felt like I really got out of my comfort zone. I really felt good about it. And he's like, yeah, you killed it. It was great. Fast forward a couple more weeks, I hear from my team that he canceled it, and I'm like, what the f-? Marco canceled the show, like, why? They're like, I don't know. So I'm like calling him, doesn't answer me. I'm like, okay, congratulations on the baby, doesn't answer me. He just won't answer me, but then he's tagging me in posts of Taylor Swift dancing and being like, that's Bobbi. And I'm like, okay, at least we're still cool. Fast forward to today, and I get tagged in a video of Marco standing by a pool talking to everybody about why he canceled the tour. I don't know anything. Anyway, with all of that said, I'm gonna go on my own tour since you don't want to go on tour with me anymore, and it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be great.
I hope so. So this is the thing. I think so. Listen to what she said. I feel what she's saying, and it does give you a lot of context. And if Funny Marco is moving like that, then that's not cool. Even if that's someone, because it does seem like from what she's saying, you was cool with me behind the scenes. Because you got to remember, I know what she's talking about because I covered it when he was commenting, because he didn't comment on her for a long time. He didn't say nothing for a long time. And then when he did say something on the interviews, if she's talking about what I think she's talking about, that's crazy, because that was the time where she was getting ate up for stealing his stuff. And especially after he said something, it went to a whole nother level. So for him to do that, her to still be cool with him, and then, like, you know what I'm saying? That I understand why she would feel a certain type of way. And then on top of that, you not responding to messages, you tag it. Like, that's not cool shit. Like, that whole back and forth is not cool. That's not how you handle someone that's a friend. It's not how you handle someone you're doing business with. It's bad business. So, yeah, what you got?
Just the human to human, like the fact that she disclosed that she was not wanting to be here anymore due to she was going through that divorce, and not responding and just cutting her off completely. That just bad human behavior. Like, that is not cool. And then seeing her again, then like, oh, let's go on tour now. Like, it's just really disregarded everything about her. And then did you hear the part she disclosed to him? I have social anxiety. That is debilitating. What do you do with that information?
I think you have to be, so I think it's privilege too, though, because imagine, so I agree with you 100%, but I also think that this is white woman privilege, and this is because at the end of the day, right? Imagine being, and I don't know if Funny Marco feels this way.
Okay.
This is the way I feel. I wouldn't give a shit. But I agree with you. You shouldn't have picked her because she's not the person that you picked for this. But two, I wouldn't give a damn. Want to know why? Because no one would ever get to be at your level and be so incompetent but you. Imagine.
But then don't ask me.
Like you said, Pretty V. No, I feel you. But like you said, Pretty V hustled for years. Pretty V had to, when she first got a Wild Out, when she first did her first comedy show, when she did all of these first things, it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of strength. It took a lot of character. She had to overcome those things. She didn't get the luxury of being famous as hell. Bobbi is way more famous than Pretty V at this point. 10 times more famous with none of the work, none of the struggle, and to be at that level, and to even be able to have that. Imagine a rapper from the 90s, a movie star, any other time where anybody gets to be this level of fame. You can't be a politician and be this level of impactful and think that you get to have debilitate. Like, it's not an option. You don't get to be what you are and have that problem.
There's a lot of artists that have that problem, though.
In the context, but you can't. But in context, they may have that problem, but they also find a way to do their job.
That is true.
So that's what I'm saying. At her level, they don't get to be Prince level, Michael Jackson level.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's Michael Jackson, but you get what I'm saying? You don't get to be that level and get to that spot without having to be tested through fire. That's what I'm saying. Marco has been tested through fire. Regardless, on some level, I feel like some of it's privilege. I'm sorry. I just think some of it's privilege, and I'm not taking away from how she feels. I think it was important that was addressed, and he should have been more responsible. He should have been more. What's the word I'm looking? Sensitive to where she was at. And if it is about money, and you only care about the business, and she messing up your business, then act like that. Like, move like that. But don't play the film role. Don't be a bad person. There's no excuse for you not communicating. There's no excuse for you doing bad business. And like you said, part of that, and I'm not just saying it's not his fault, part of that is his fault because you chose someone that told you that they couldn't do this and then was surprised when they couldn't do it or didn't do a good job. So to be fair, I get what you're saying. That was a good point.
And I just feel like the fact that she had to find out from a third party that the tour that she's on is canceled.
That's crazy work.
That is heartbreaking.
That's a slap in the face.
And it's her first tour. Like, that's not right.
And then for you to cancel the first one, oh no, wait, she canceled the first one.
Yeah, but meaning like her
first
one. On stage, she's super trying. She thought she's doing a good job. You praising her, and then she just hears from the grapevine that you canceled with no words. You're not answering your phone. Like, you ghosted her for the second time. What kind of bad relationship do they have?
I don't know. It's very strange. And I thought after the last few interviews that they just had, because they was just hanging out not too long ago, and I thought for those interviews they were almost acting like they was dating. Because I remember Shaq was like messing with Funny Marcos. I was like, are they dating now or something? But who knows? But I guess not from what she's talking about. It doesn't seem like it. But if we get more information, if this continues to spill out, I didn't mean to make it this long, but if this continues to spill out and it's something interesting and worth covering, we'll give you guys an update. But for right now, that is the Funny Marco and Bobbi Althoff story, and we'll see if they get back together. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to be honest, Bobbi is going to let Funny Marco come back around, and Funny Marco will come back around because there's money in fucking with her. And that's just how the game works.
You get 3 strikes, and then you out.